When you're sleeping, you're in a deep sleep, your eyes are closed, your mouth is not talking, your ears are not listening, you're in a room, it's dark, your door is locked, you're alone, you're sleeping. And you can have dreams. But in your dreams, you can see, you can hear, you can feel, you can taste, you have fear, you have happiness, deki, you have trepidation. You have all of that. And even in your dreams you can see, but you're not using your eyes. You can hear, you're not using your ear. So what are you hearing and seeing with? You're conscious. You're living. You're perceiving. But some people say, but you're not perceiving reality. You're not perceiving things around you. You're perceiving something in a dream that happened before, or a fantasy. True. But you're still seeing. You still can see. You're sleeping like this, your eyes are closed, you still can see. Very clearly, you can see the ocean, you can see whatever you're dreaming about. You can see your friends, animals, you can see a haunted house, you can see, a mountain, you can see. That ability to see is your mind. That is different than your body. And that's what Buddha's talking about. That's why the mind is different than the body. That mind, everything it hears, everything it sees, everything it tastes, everything it feels is recorded and not forgotten. Even if it was 30, 40 years ago. How? Today in America, in Europe, past life regression, hypnotherapy is very big. I think you've heard, where they regress the person through hypnosis and they can remember things when they were 2, 3, 4 years old. Or just not past life, but hypnotherapy or using hypnosis to relax the person to remember something that traumatized them when they were very young. That's a recognized medical field now, correct? Let's say you're 60 years old and you're afraid of water. And then you don't know why. And every time you see water, you suffer phobias, you sweat. So they go to a hypnotherapist, they go to a psychologist who's qualified, and they regress you back to when you were 4 years old. You found out your brother pushed you in the water, you almost drowned. And then you talk about it. After that, you come out and go, oh, that's why. Now you're not afraid of water. So what is that? That is making you face your fears. So hypnotherapy in America now is very big. Not past life regression. Past life is big, but I'm talking about medically recognized. To hypnotize a person by a qualified person, and they regress your memory back to a time you were very young. Because when you're 60, 30, 40, you can't remember things that happened when you were 1 or 2. You cannot. But things happen, and they're recorded. The very fact that under hypnosis you can remember is proof you don't forget anything. And that's what the Buddha said. The Buddha says, nothing we perceive is forgotten. And then they even have regressed people into the time they were in their womb. So some people who were in the womb, they heard their mother and father shouting, or their mother fell down and hurt herself. She's, oh, mommy, when I was 5 months in your stomach, around 5 or 6 months, I remember you fell down and you went to the hospital. The mother said, how do you know? I was inside of you, I heard it. You see, the mind is working. The eyes are not formed yet, the ears are not formed, but the mind is working. All right? So in Buddhism, it says that same thing. Now, if you had a mind now, you have a mind 10 years ago. This mind continues when you were 10. This mind continues when you're 5. This mind continues when you're 1. So hypothetically, from the age of 1 till now, you have one mind, correct? And everything you experience is in that memory, in that collective memory. Now, if you had a mind now, you had a mind yesterday. If you had a mind yesterday, you had a mind the day before. Because the mind doesn't cut, it continues. This mind is different than your body, okay? So if you had a mind at the time of birth, you must have had a mind before birth. Logical? I didn't ask you to accept. I just asked you, is it logical? If you were born on September 1st, 12 a.m., if you were born on September 2nd, 12 a.m., on September 1st, 11:59 a.m., you must have had a mind. p.m., you must have had a mind, right? Correct. So if you were born 12 a.m., then 1 hour before, 2 hours before, 3 hours, you must have had a mind. Or else you can't be born with an instant mind. So where were you? You were in your mother's stomach, correct? Okay. So 9 months you were in your mother's stomach, you had a mind. So if you had a mind for 9 months that continued to your born, to continue to your child, and now, at the moment of conception you had a mind. The moment prior to conception you had a mind. Where was your mind before conception? It has to continue. In your previous life. Very simple, that's what Buddha said. That's how reincarnation works. Doesn't depend on God. By the way, reincarnation is not created by Buddha. Buddha recognized it exists like that. Molecules and atoms weren't created by scientists. They just recognized and told you it exists. Molecules and atoms and germs and parasites existed before scientists, before laboratories, before microscopes. It's just we recognize it recently in the last 200 years. Hasn't germs and parasites and cells and DNA been existing since the beginning of time? Right? But since when was it recognized? Only about 150, 200 years ago. Same thing. Reincarnation has been around from day one. It's just Buddha recognized it because he through meditation, he has the wisdom to see and explain to you. So, if, let's say your mother and father copulated and they conceived you, the sperm and the egg joined at 1 p.m., 1 a.m., whatever, 1 a.m. That is when your consciousness entered that body. And then it grew. Consciousness doesn't have size. So you can fit inside something small, you can fit something big. It's the same thing. But before your parents copulated and before you entered their sperm and egg, you must have been existing in order to enter. Then so you must, before that you had a previous life. So if you had a previous life, you must have had a life before that, and one before that, and before that, to continue. And all the experiences in those previous lives are carried to this life. Some people in their previous lives did many lifetimes of meditation and practice and prayer, and they dedicated their lives to the benefit of others. And when they come back, they're called a tupu. So, a tupu is someone who for many lifetimes devoted their lives to teaching others, healing others, helping animals, saving environments, liberating others, bringing hope to others. And they keep coming back to do that because they made that wish. That is a general tupu. Now, all of us are theoretical tupus. It's just what you did and what I did is different. That doesn't just apply to me. And being a tupu doesn't make me better. It just lets me know what I did in my previous life. It doesn't make me better than you. It just says, I know what I did in my previous life. And some tupus can have flashbacks and memories of their previous life very clearly. And they can tell you this, clearly. And there are many people, if you go on YouTube and you do reincarnation, on my blog, also I blog about it, there are many cases around the world. Case studies are done of kids who come back, not Buddhist, not Hindu, in America, in Europe, who can remember their previous lives and prove it clearly. Many cases these days. Because you see, in the past, people suppressed that. Now, because religion was strong, if it doesn't follow the church, they don't let you follow it. Now it's more secular, so people are exploring. There are many cases in Europe and America. In Asia, it's a given. But in Europe and in America, there are many cases of kids coming back. They document it now. The scientists are not saying we accept reincarnation. They just say they don't know why kids can remember. And then they take them to the place. They take them to a place that they said they believed in a previous life. They believe they were born. They recognize the people. They recognize the road. They recognize the village. They recognize their wives. They recognize their children. The children are this big. The mother is this small now. Many documented cases. And they check. And they check, did the children pick that up from a magazine? Did the parents tell them? Did they have an experience? Did they watch it on TV? Did they make it up? It's impossible. There are kids who can remember clearly where their previous lives were. And you know, some kids remember, and there are many people, adults, who can remember their previous lives through hypnotherapy. And you know what? Some people in this life were English. When they go into hypnotherapy, they speak French perfectly. Because in their previous lives, they were French. But in their waking day, they cannot speak French. Because they're tapping into a memory. How does science prove that? But with us, it's simple. In your previous life, you were French. So in my previous life, I was a Tibetan monk. It doesn't make me better. It just tells you I was a Tibetan monk. So you say, well, you're recognized as a Tibetan monk, so was it a happy day? I told you. If it was a normal Tibetan monk, I would be happy, because he was quite a high person. It makes me nervous. Because how do I live up to it? Imagine they say, hey, you're the reincarnation Mother Teresa. I'd be like, oh. And in this life, I just sit around and eat, and Mother Teresa, are you really Mother Teresa? They would expect more, right? It's something like that. But reincarnation happens to me, it happens to you. It's beyond Buddhism. It's not created by Buddhism or Hinduism. It was existing way before that. And in ancient Christianity, before their meeting in Rome, reincarnation was very strong in the scriptures. But that was expelled from the Christian texts because it gave less power to the church to control people. Why is that? If you only have one life, the church can control you. If there are many lives, you do what you want to me, I'm not afraid I'll come back in a better life. So in the Christian texts, the ancient scriptures that are banned, but you can still find them, reincarnation is there. But currently today, 2 billion people by statistics believe in reincarnation. So myself, how does believing in reincarnation benefit me? It makes me more careful of what I do to other people, because I don't want to create the karma to come back to be harmed. Because what goes around comes around. So it makes you a better person if you believe in reincarnation. If you believe in a God and God will punish, sometimes you think, how come he's not being punished? But if you believe in reincarnation, you go, oh, I better be careful, because you take responsibility for yourself. So therefore, at the time of your birth, you had a mind. During the 9-month gestation in your mother's womb, just like me, we had a mind. We can hear things, we can perceive. That's very logical. Then at the time of conception, you had a mind. If you had a mind at conception, you must have had a mind 1 moment prior to conception, 1 hour prior, 1 day prior, 1 month, 1 year prior. Otherwise, the mind just didn't start there. So let's fast forward. So when you and I die, our body dies, but our mind continues into another body to learn some more things. Hence, what we do in this life is very important. So a person, every single person, animal, has that mind. Sometimes we can reincarnate as an animal. Sometimes we can reincarnate as a ghost. Sometimes we can reincarnate as a human. We can reincarnate in many forms. Because the mind has no space, has no time, has no color and shape. It is energy. And everything we experience is never forgotten by the mind. Hence, in hypnotherapy in the West, it's not big in Malaysia. You can remember things when you were 2 years old, 3 years old.